Hello, everybody. Today is day 39 of 365 days of my raw journey of suspending disbelief. Ooh, it's 11:11 p.m. right as I start this. I am celebrating hard today. Big celebrations today. So today I had my first pay-in-full client over like $500, like over the $500 mark, I think. It might have been a little bit higher before, but not much higher than $500. And this one was well over 3,000. So huge, massive, major win. I'm also, so these are like all the same metric, but applied in different ways. I'm going to be really clear about that because I know it is such a common thing online for people to celebrate these wins as if they're all separate ones. Like they've had so many massive wins, and they are so many massive wins, but they're also the same win. And so I'm going to be really, really clear about the fact that they're also the same. So, the first big one was, a pay-in-full client that was over the $500 mark, and it was exponentially over the $500 mark. The second version of this same one is almost a 5K day. Okay, so that's something I've never experienced before, for sure. Even when making like multiple large sales in one day, I've never hit the 5K mark, and I didn't quite hit the 5K mark today, I will say that. But it was very close. I think and I don't have the numbers in front of me because it's Friday night. My agreement with myself was I was going to record Saturday mornings for the Friday night episodes, but this was way too exciting to wait till the morning. So, plus we have a lot going on tomorrow. We have like double birthday parties this weekend and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, just about a 5K day. It was less than $200 short of $5,000 today. So counting that as a 5K day because it basically is. And because that's a massive milestone, right? That's a big milestone that a lot of coaches kind of aim for. I would say even closer to the beginning, like aiming for 5K month, right? Or even a 1K month, like at the very beginning, going to that 1K month mark, and then going to the 2 or 3K month mark, and then eventually hitting that, like you want to aim for the 5K month mark. And 5K days are quite a bit farther down the line, right? And I never really thought about it from this perspective. So I was calling in multiple, every night for the last few nights, I have been writing down, like I said, before bed, find me 2 pay-in-full clients by the end of May. Now, I am not complaining about only having one before the end of May, you guys. Like celebrating that super hard. And also, and I have no concept of what this person may or may not pay, but I also have another person interested. So it is very possible that, within 24 hours of the end of May, another sale comes in, and it could totally happen. So, and totally suspending disbelief, because that would just be mind-blowingly amazing, right? So I'm trying to like keep the giggly excitement down just because it's like so over the top. Like I've been celebrating it hard. I've been letting all of the excitement come up and come out. Like honestly, earlier today I was so excited. I had like 4 or 5 different women in my inbox at once in my DMs asking about this program. The energy was just so high and so intense and so much. And um, I literally, like, happy things were making me burst into tears because the excitement was like too much for my body. So I was like, my kids, like just needing to like run around screaming to get it out of my body, kind of an energy. Like it was just like, this is so exciting. And nothing wrong with that, right? It was just like so intense that sitting at my computer having these DM conversations was like not allowing me to release it. So I would like something nice would be said and I'd be like, ah, just start crying. Um, Anyway, I ended up like, I stepped away, went outside, grounded myself, earthed myself, and just like soaked in some sunshine and was like, whew, okay. And went back in and was able to be calm again. Right. But it was like, um, yeah, just, it's been an incredible day. Energetically, it's been an incredible day. And again, out of those like 4 or 5, not all were confirmed no's. Like not all the other ones were no's. One is definitely more interested. There's a couple more that I'm unsure of at this point. Um, and anyway, so big milestones hit there. And I will say that so the last couple of years, 2022, I did quite well in business, despite the second half of it being like zero income. After leaving my husband. So the first half I was doing great. I was doing 8K months. For sure May and June. I can't remember if I hit it in April or not. But I was doing 8K months at that point before I left him. And then all the blocks came up and all the limiting beliefs came up and all of the finances fell away. Right. So I had no income in the second half, but I had a really good year overall. Like it was decent as far as business goes. Or as far as my business goes, right? Being a little bit more in the early stages, especially with the online business, longer term with the in-person business, but it was not scalable. All right. So I've been in business for over 11 years now, working for myself and doing it successfully and all of that. So I'm also bringing up these reminders because I want to keep in perspective, and that's not because it's not possible to do these things earlier on. It totally is. I had major wins at the beginning and all of that kind of stuff, right? But I do want to keep in perspective and make it very clear where I'm at as far as business expertise, business experience goes, right? This is not random, fluky, whatever, right? This is, I have a solid foundation for building up to this point. Okay. So, yeah, so over 500, painful, massive win, basically a 5K day, massive win, massive win. Like even a 5K month at this point would have been a massive win for me. Um, I haven't actually done the math yet to find out what the total for the month is. It's probably, I mean, it's definitely over 5K. I just don't know how much over. I probably should have done that before doing this episode, but that hasn't happened yet. So, oh well. um, and I would just say that like I feel confident and well on my way back to where I was, which is a major premise of this whole suspending disbelief movement, right? This is one of the things that Catherine Zenkina said in that episode that kind of spurred on all of this, that gave me the seed for this movement, was that where you are right now is your worst case scenario, right? Because you can always get back to where you are. And actually for me, where I was like just not even It couldn't even be counted towards my worst case scenario because I had been higher than that. So I was in a temporary dip, right? And we can always get back up to where we were at before. So here I am. I'm a little over a month, right, into this suspending disbelief challenge movement. And I'm almost back to where I was before. So just proving it right as we go, right? I'm just confirming it as we go. And I'm trying to bring the attention back to these things to really, really anchor it in that these things are not just things that are being said. These are facts. If you've done it before, you can do it again. You can. Okay. And as I've said throughout this podcast, I have believed that. I have continued to believe that. I've known it to be true. And now I'm just, putting it on paper, basically. I'm proving it to you guys so that you are able to take my belief, borrow my belief for a while, if needed, so that you can continue onward and upward, right? Okay, so I know I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm even like kind of short of breath because I'm just like, today is amazing, which is the best. It's the best ever. Anyways, so 1, 2, yeah, okay, so here's the third win. This one is probably going to blow some minds, especially for those of you who know me. So 2022, again, I don't remember what my total for the year was, but 2022 was a decent year in business. I did well. I felt okay. Like, second half of the year was rough because I hadn't been setting aside money to cover myself for the second half of the year because I didn't know that I was going to dive bomb, right? I left my husband at the point of I'm making 8K months and I can more than provide for myself. And then I went to making nothing. And so it was like, what the fuck just happened? And I yeah, anyway. However, 2023 was brutal. It was brutal. Okay, it was so much healing that I almost didn't try to sell anything. Okay, I sold I started my business membership at the beginning of 2023, and I did fill it. I did pretty well fill it. At or I had like several people join right at the beginning, right? Where I had set it at like a $7 a month starting point. So it was great. I was getting yeses, I was getting sales, but they were very small, right? Very, very small, not significant enough to contribute even to bills, or groceries, really. And there were like a couple of other things, smallish things throughout the year. I had kind of like, a little bit of flex up and down in my business membership. People would join, a couple would leave, more would join, a couple would leave, kind of thing. And after the $7 mark, I had moved it up to like an 850, I had it at like 17 a month. And then I just kind of was in this stasis. I don't remember if I sold. There wasn't much. My guides were like, clear it all out, like, close up your offers. These things are not for you anymore, like, whatever. So I had like major, major shifts in my business where I shut so many offers down that I already had and was like almost starting from scratch. Not as far as audience goes, not as far as building relationships goes, but as far as offers go. So I did have like at one point during the year when I shut all of those down, I did it all at once. And I did sell a few things where it was like, okay, guys, last chance to get these things before they're gone. Sold a few of those. I think there was one that was like maybe at the $300 mark, one that was just under 100, kind of thing. And then I had Black Friday. Black Friday was I wasn't even going to do a sale for Black Friday. And then I had a couple of people asking me like, are you doing any sales for Black Friday? What's going on with it? Whatever. And so I was like, you know what, whatever. And I just said 50% off of anything on my site. Now, I wasn't thinking at the time um, about my memberships. So I said anything on my site and people dove in, right? I think at that point I had raised my business membership to 27 a month or something. Or no, it was still at 17. And so a bunch of people got in at $8.50 a month. So barely any different than when I first started my membership, right? It was like this tiny raise up kind of thing. A few people bought for the entire year because it was only $85. And then I had my cards membership, which was very similar. It was like, uh, normally it was set to 25 a month or 250 for the year, and people got in at 12.50 a month and 125 for the year. So it was like, it was great. And I was super grateful and it was fantastic. I had like a really good kind of build up to the end of the year, right? Really good. Let's give it some perspective based on the rest of the year, right? So it was like cool, sweet, like a little cash injection kind of before Christmas. But here's the thing, and I didn't know this. I had not done my math until just recently when I was so inspired to do my taxes that day. So I actually added up all of my income for 2023. Unless I missed something, but I don't think that I did. And my total income in Canadian dollars, okay, so this is even, the number would be smaller in US dollars, in Canadian dollars was $1,606.92. Okay, so basically $1,600. And I was like, wow, how did I make it through last year? And I mean, I know I have government benefits, I've got child support, things like this. And I borrowed money, right? But yeah, last year was really brutal. So here is number 3 massive win that I'm going to really keep this perspective here, because online you might hear things like, I tripled my income from last year in one day. Well, guys, I did. I tripled my income from last year in one day. Today it was 2.96, I think was the percentage. Like it was right under 3 times the amount from last year that I brought in today. So like, these are the kinds of wins, right, that people talk about. So you'll hear coaches being like, I tripled my income from the previous year in one day. I did this, I did this. But what are the actual numbers? Okay. And I am not undermining $5,000 at all. It's massive. It's an incredible day. It is, it's a great kickoff for the growth that my business is coming into right now. Okay. So it's fantastic. But also, if the coaches online were bragging, I tripled my $1,600 income from the 1 year in one day, that would be a little bit less shocking, a little bit less like, OMG, you know everything, and I need to throw $10,000 at you. Right. And I'm just gonna, like, I just kind of had to pause on that because it was like, really, that is the kind of thing that happens so much online. So I could brag those same results, and I am going to, but I'm going to do it with perspective that this is not, we're not talking like I had a 100K year last year and I tripled that in one day. That would be like, take all my money. You need to teach me what to do. Right. And don't get me wrong, I have lots to give as far as business advice goes. And I think that I'm a great business coach. Actually, I know that I'm a great business coach, and I have a zillion testimonials to prove it. And I know that I offer value as valuable as 10K and above programs, because I've paid for them. I've been in them, and I know that I give even more. So it's not about that. It's just about bringing the authenticity, into the coaching industry, right? And this is, I am very much not one of the people that's like, most coaches or like majority of coaches are lying to you. Like, that's not how I am, but there are a select few who are big names, and they're big names because they get results um through skewing their results, right? And it gets people to trust them and to buy from them, and then they have bigger results and they keep on compounding on that, right? And it's just so unethical. And it makes a bad name for a lot of other coaches who aren't doing it. And the problem is that it puts this gap there. It puts this like out of reach. Most people are perceiving themselves to be failing, quote unquote, failing, when they're actually doing really well. And they may not even be that far behind what these coaches are doing. But because of how it's worded, they think that they are nowhere near, right? That they're nowhere in sight of those big goals. And so I just want to point out, like, if you could have had a $30 year and then made $90 in one day, this is what skewing the perception is. And so I want to share the results. I want to share these wins, and I want to celebrate the shit out of them because they're huge energetically and relatively for the results that I've been having over the last year and a half. They are, or almost 2 years now, they are massive, right? So absolutely celebrating, 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 just so freaking grateful, so happy, thrilled, just absolutely thrilled, right? Like, as I've been saying, my success is here. It is not just inevitable, it is here. And I kept on saying that, and I kept on writing down my command form things that I was calling in before bed. And I kept on suspending disbelief with all the different pieces of my day every day. And it works. Okay, so this works. It doesn't matter what the numbers are that you're working with in your business. It doesn't matter if you've made more than me, if you've made less than me, if you have struggled to ever make $1, if you've made 50,000 in a day. I don't care. This works. If you are at the point where you're trying to suspend disbelief to get to your next level, this works. This process works, and it is working. So I just had to really, really, really be clear on this stuff today. There was one other, this one's a little bit tougher to share. So there have been some things that came to light today. I didn't actually plan this one ahead, so I'm just trying to think. I want to make sure that I'm not having to cut out parts like I did in the past, with like having overshared somebody else's information kind of thing. So I will just say, okay, so somebody, somebody, um, was sort of outed today for a lot of lies that have been happening. And it was enough to have in the past absolutely flattened me, destroyed my day, destroyed my week, maybe even destroyed my month and beyond, right? Where it was like, you're just questioning everything and you're rehashing every conversation ever, and you're like getting so in your head, right? And um first of all, I was able to move through that very quickly today and go from by comparison. So I was in it for a bit, probably an hour or so. Um but I was able to move past that being stuck in the head, being like overthinking it, um, very, very quickly today, and not in a burying it way, in a like I processed it, I thought it through, I made a decision, and I moved, right? Like I was able to just go through the process much more quickly than ever in the past before. So this is super, super relevant, guys, and I'm just really trying to word it in a way that will make it clear and yet not, again, overshare. So, um, what I became deeply, deeply, deeply on a level that I cannot even begin to explain, aware of today is that every time I've had a day where it felt like the success in my business was finally happening, like things were finally shifting, like big changes were coming, and that um, the movement was, the momentum was coming, and all of this, right? I would have a day where it would be like, this is the day. This is the day. So this morning I woke up to a yes in my inbox, like yes, and I didn't know at the time, but she was planning to pay in full, right? And it was like waking up to a yes, I want in. That is already an energetic, like, light of fire. You are just going hard, right? Like, this day is amazing. Everything is bigger, brighter, bolder, more beautiful, right? Like, it's just like, yes, love it. So every time I've had a day like that where it's like the energy is just there and you know everything's going to go your way, and like you're in that. Over the last couple of years, especially, and even before then, anytime that I was having one of those days, and I swear it's been every single time, there has been some sort of drama, some sort of big negative thing that happens, or information that drops, or whatever, from someone who couldn't know that they are specifically like, it feels like they're trying to destroy my day, right? Or trying to destroy my joy, my peace, my whatever. Um, and it has worked in the past, right? It has destroyed my joy. I've let it destroy my peace. I've let it, and I'm saying I've let it for a reason, because I do take radical responsibility for myself these days, right? And even more recently, when it's happened, I hadn't had this full realization. So I will still take radical responsibility that I have allowed these things to destroy my peace, to get in the way of the success of my business. Every single time, for so long, that I only had a $1,600 year last year, you guys. Like, and particularly, this is a big thing with my exes, okay? The two of them. Um, and one more so than the other, but it has been where I am building momentum, building momentum, building momentum. And it's like the second I get up to that peak and I'm way up here vibrationally, and I know you can't see me waving my hand around, but I'm really high up vibrationally. They have some drama, they have some mood, they have some jerk move that they pull or whatever. And I come crashing back down, and I'm energetically not available for the success that I was about to have. And I stay there because it depresses me and it makes me feel like shit. And I am like, okay, never mind. I don't know how to trust. Like, maybe I can't trust my intuition. Maybe I'm always wrong. I thought I was going to do really good and then I didn't. And I haven't matched them up to each other, that these things are happening every single time and that I'm allowing them to bring me down. So what I realized today, and the reason that I realized it is because when I processed so quickly today and moved back into movement again, instead of letting it flatten me like that, the success came in. So here's how I got clear on that. This morning, I woke up to, yes, I want in my DMs, to a yes to this program, my Wild Feminine Leaders Inner Circle. Okay. And so I had been building up this momentum. Again, I was climbing up the mountain, right? And I had just hit that peak this morning. And everything else in my life seemed smooth enough. Everything was good enough. It was like, yes, I'm finally going to get there. Like, and not, these are not like front of mind thoughts. These are subconscious, right? But I was realizing it after. So I'm there. So what happens? The drama. The drama comes in, right? The negative thing happens. The lies, the truth bombs, the, whatever, all of this stuff drop in. And I had sent before this happened, I had sent the payment link. Okay. And then I had realized, I know I need to do up the contract still. So just hold off. I need to get that contract to you, etc. And I had said that, and then the drama happened. So then it took me most of the rest of the day to get a contract drawn up, because I was like, there was just, aside from the drama, there was also kid stuff and life and animal and like my dog and, whatever, there was all the things. And so I was almost taken off track of getting that contract out and getting that sale in before the end of the day, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, by what had happened, right? It almost happened anyways, but I persevered. I kept on coming back to this contract. I was like, no, I'm getting this contract out. I already have the yes. Like, I just need to get this contract out to her. And so I kept on coming back to it, kept on coming back to it. And you guys, I think that the yes message was at 6 a.m. my time. And I think it was about 4, maybe 5 even. Damn, it could have even been 6 p.m., like almost 12 hours later, when I finally sent the contract and was like, here it is. Sorry about the delays, whatever. And I could see she hadn't been online for a couple hours. I was like, I hope I didn't miss it. And not miss it totally. I knew she would still be in the next day, but the price was supposed to change the next day. I would have kept it for her because I had delays, right? But it was just one of those things. So I'm like, it's like the end of the day, whatever. Anyway, I sent it. She wasn't seeing it for a while, like all the things. And I was hitting the point of like, okay, where like for most of the day, I wasn't focused on the angst of what had happened, but more details kind of kept trickling in throughout the day. So by the time I was sending out this contract, I was so frustrated. And I was just like, this is such bullshit. I'm so sick of this. I'm not putting up with this anymore. These kinds of things happening, right? And so it was just an energetic decision that was made where I was like, I'm done. I'm drawing the line. And this happened back around I'm thinking Boxing Day, and that's not what I'm meaning to say. Black Friday as well, where I was like, I don't coach for free anymore. And all of a sudden the sales just started rolling in. And this time it was just like, I'm done. I'm not putting up with this bullshit anymore. Like, I'm ready to like, hey, we're going to disconnect completely. And maybe you need to not be in contact with your child and like, whatever. It was just like massive energetic shift. Right. But it happened very quickly once I was focused on the situation. And I sat down with my daughter and I had a conversation with her to be like, look, this is what's going on. This is, we've been kind of misled. There's been these things happening, and having this conversation and letting her know where I was at, what my decision was, and all of this. And while we're sitting there, I had my arm around her. She was upset, like all of this stuff. While we're sitting there, I got the notification that the contract had been signed. And we kept talking and got to the point where she was in complete understanding and agreement with me. And then the payment came in. Okay. And it was literally like moment to moment. Like it was right at the exact same moments. And I was like, this is unbelievable. And both times I was just like, right. And it was like, woo. And it really made me just pause and be like, holy shit. I've been hitting these highs and then not making the sale, not getting over that hump because I've allowed the slumps, like the things that have come in, the negative, or the electrons, right? The things that come up, I've allowed them to take my focus off of the goal, off of whatever it was that was going to succeed. I've let it fall through my fingers because I've allowed the drama to take over. And this time I didn't. And it was 14 hours after the yes when that payment came through, you guys. So it was like, it was right at the end of the day. It was like 8 p.m. I was like, I don't think it's coming in today. I don't think I'm hitting my goal to have. And of course, it was 2 pay in fulls by the end of the month. But even, I was like, again, happy for one. Thank you, universe. More, please. Right. um, so I was starting to have those feelings of like, I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen. And I had still been suspending disbelief. I was like, I mean, still could happen. It's still totally possible. Could happen, could happen, could happen. Suspending disbelief, suspending disbelief, suspending disbelief. And like, thank freaking goodness for how much time I have spent over the last 39 days reminding myself to suspend disbelief, to trust that my success is inevitable and that I'm always exactly where I'm meant to be and that things are working out for me, right? I was so set in that despite the brutal, it was not great today. It also ended up being just such an amazing day, right? And it's um and I even broke it down for my daughter and was like, okay, this morning started out like this. I got a yes. This sale could have been like 6 a.m. This could have been very, very quick to where now it's 8 p.m. And why? It's because of this. And I explained it all to her. And then I really sat there with it and was like, oh my gosh, this has been the last couple of years. This has been every time my business has been ready to move to the next step, or every time I have energetically been ready to move to the next step, something like this has happened. And I realized what it was that my vibration was rising. And of course, because she even made the comment, she was like, it's almost like they know what's happening in your business and they start doing these things. And I was like, yeah, but they don't. And then it made me realize, but energetically they do. And so I would be so close, right? I'd be going up, 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 up. And energetically, they would feel that like, and of course, this is subconscious, you guys, right? This is all energetic. Like, these people are not doing this to me deliberately, consciously, deliberately, right? But so I would be going up, they would feel the difference and they would tug down and pull me back down. And I was allowing it. And this time I sort of like wobbled and I was coming down. But again, with the vibration versus the frequency thing, my frequency is so much higher at this point that I was able to bring my vibration back up very quickly and maintain that momentum that I had built. And this awareness, I can just feel the impact that it will have, right? The next time, because there will be a next time because they do this and they will continue to do this forever because they are my children's fathers. And so I can't completely just like erase them from my life. So these things will continue to happen. And I will now know how to keep moving through it. I will now understand why it's happening on the same day as things are looking great every single time. Pardon me. I've been talking too much today, so I'm getting like this tickle in my throat. Anyways, that to me, that realization today was bigger than the 5K day, you guys. Like, I could burst into tears right now with the relief of like, I know how to stop this from happening now. I know how to stop, and this is a quote unquote, I'm doing the finger quotes, how to stop letting other people ruin my business, and stop the feeling of having no control over that. Um, and by that, I don't mean where I'm like forcing control, but I have control over me. And it's been me. It's not them. As much as they want to fuck up their lives, as much as they want to screw around and do all of these things and, be dicks or have a slip or, whatever the case may be, what they're doing should not impact my business so much if I'm energetically keeping myself protected, first of all, clearing my energy, all of these kinds of things, but also if I am not energetically available for them to destroy my peace. Because when I let them destroy my peace, when I don't have my peace, I don't manage my business. I do not hit those successful markers, right? Those things that make me feel successful, the things that feel like wins, whatever, or that are, feel like or are. I haven't been hitting those because I've been allowing them to destroy my peace. And again, I'm going to say it like so many times because it is me allowing them. They are not destroying my peace. I am not a victim. I am allowing it. I have been allowing it. I'm no longer allowing it. And I just know that this realization, like today, it made for a 5K day. And in the future, who knows where that will take me? Because I know, and I have known, and I like, I was like, this should be working. I know these things should be working. I know all of this stuff. And it was just, this is why. So absolutely incredible day. Absolutely mind-blowingly incredible day. I tripled my income from last year in one day. I made my highest pay in full sale ever by 7 times. Like I 7 times the amount of my highest pay in full ever. And I hit just like a massive goal of a 5K day, which is something that I did not see coming, right? And I didn't really think it through when I was calling in pay in full clients. I was not really thinking through that even one would bring me to a 5K day. So that is, or bring me that close to one that I could make a 5K day kind of thing. Anyway, it is, you guys, my success is not just inevitable. My success is here. Start saying it. If you haven't been saying it, start saying it. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much for putting up with the babbling and the kind of rambling talk, because this is raw. And so I'm not planning these episodes. I'm not, making the notes beforehand all the time and stuff like that. Sometimes I make a couple of notes, but I have not been doing that most days. So apologies that they kind of ramble on. But I love you guys for being here. I love you guys for listening to me. I love you for believing. I love you for trusting. I love you for being willing to suspend disbelief. So just keep going. Don't give up. Our success is here. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.